3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your airline people will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning. This is Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. My name is William Global, and it is my pleasure to have with me in the studio this morning to review the papers. Our public affairs analyst is Majid. Majid, it's always a pleasure to have you.
Yes, I'm happy to be here too.
I said, where are you? With the newspaper headlines screaming this Friday. I said, there's no other person to review it, to discuss it than Majid, a veteran in the field.
Thank you very much.
So, viewers, we have 4 papers as usual for review this morning. We have Nigeria's most influential leadership, THISDAY, The Sun, Daily Sun, and of course our sister publication, National Economy. As usual, we are flagging up with leadership. 2023, as zoning agitation rages, Igbo leaders warn Southeast aspirants against accepting VP slots. 2023, as zoning agitation rages, Igbo leaders warn Southeast aspirants against accepting VP slots. Stop blackmailing none. ACF fires back. Power must shift to South. Middle belt insists. Nothing wrong with deluge of aspirants, lawyers say. Osinbajo, Amechi, Bakare, Nnamani pick nomination forms. This is the headline story on Leadership on Leadership Friday, the first and only Friday newspaper in Nigeria. Let's move over to THISDAY. Most of these papers have the same story on zoning on today's headline. Let's see what THISDAY is saying. THISDAY says ACF to Southern leaders, enough of blackmail, not afraid of breakup. ACF to Southern leaders, that is Arewa Consultative Forum to Southern leaders, enough of blackmail, not afraid of breakup. These Southerners contest the facts that the North has 78% of the landmass of Nigeria. They refuse to accept that the North has over 55% of the population of Nigeria. They won't concede that the voting population in the Northwest region of the North alone is bigger than those of the Southeast and South combined. That is on THISDAY. Let's see what the Sun is also saying on the matter. Daily Sun. 2023 presidency. Anxiety in APC, PDP as aspirants await final word on zoning. 2023 presidency, anxiety in APC, PDP as aspirants await final word on zoning. Ruling opposition parties silence unsettled members. We have warm words on 2023 between the North and the South on the issue of zoning.
Yes, at the beginning of the year,
it's interesting.
Yes, I had commended the APC for taking a subtle approach towards power shifts, as seen by the preponderance of Southern aspirants on this platform, which was commendable. I remember at the time I had said that would reduce the tension that was associated with the 2023 election, at least on African issues. But unfortunately, that seems to be changing. The change is not because the APC is changing its stance. I still think the APC is still committed to power shifts. But I think what's actually creating the tension more is the PDP.
Okay.
Yes. Now, the PDP is basing its strategy on a very simplistic thinking. That once the APC goes out, they'll go out and inherit Buhari's 12 million votes and then win. And a number of them are telling you winnability over morality of zoning, and that you can't zone what you don't have. I've heard a lot of such narratives. Why they were making this claim, something didn't occur to them. Because like I said, it was a very simplistic thinking. Okay, what if the APC decides to go back to the North? So your winnability becomes unwinnable. So what happens? And Osita Okechukwu, the DG of Voice of Nigeria,
Yes.
actually made a
The
statement.
PDP is the cause of the.
It is the PDP. And I've maintained that stand here all the time. The PDP. The attitude of the northern wing of the PDP will derail that party. That party will not win the election even if it's owned to the north.
But like I said before, don't you think that the PDP is afraid of losing the northern vote?
And I'm saying, what if the APC also go back to the north and say, we don't want to lose the north? The APC, the PDP will still lose the north and then lose the south.
No, because I'm saying in a situation whereby, like as you said, as you rightly pointed out, APC is likely to go south.
Yes.
And of course, even the northern APC
Yes.
governors, those in place, are going to mobilize to
Yes.
vote for their candidate,
Yes.
even though it's south from the south.
Yes.
But PDP, on the other hand, votes has a southern
Yes.
candidate. So what is the hope that you get the northern vote?
And I'm saying if it
That's
goes to
what
the
they're saying.
north, it will lose the north, it will lose the south and go into extinction.
Okay.
Is that not political foolishness?
Oh yes.
How do you
I see where you're.
How do you gamble with a region that has given you
so much support
since 2015 when you lost power? The majority of your governors are from there. The dictators are from there. What has kept the party flowing is southern vote and middle belt votes. Now let us even go back to the issue of not only that for money actually. There's something people often talk about, but we don't seem to think about it deeply. It is true that Northern region has larger landmass, and that is because of a wrong arithmetic of geography that created out of Nigeria a larger northern region. But in that northern region, it is very heterogeneous, it's not homogeneous.
Yes, it is.
And so, for those who think that having the largest landmass automatically translates into a one-way direction in terms of political decision, they're making a mistake. It has not been so. That is one. Secondly, and the North also says they have 55% of the population.
Yes, that's what
it's a combination of two factors. One, the wrong geographic arithmetic that removes some communities and put in the north is what accounted for 55% votes. There are indigenous Yoruba communities in northern Nigeria, Kogi and Kwara.
Yes.
There are indigenous Igbo communities in Benue and Kogi in northern Nigeria. People don't know this. There are other ethnic groups that are not Hausa, not Fulani, not Muslim in the same northern region.
Yes.
It is part of that 55% vote. 55% of the vote.
Yes.
Now, in addition to all of this, you see, it would be very, very, very wrong for anybody to look at the votes of the South, and Southeast and assume that they are small because of the figure of the voters from the region. It is not true. The bulk of Southeast votes is outside of their region.
Yes.
And not inside.
Yes, sure. Yeah, I agree with you.
And let me say this.
I agree with you. If I may chip in that, during in Edo State, during the vote of after the victory of Baseki, he went to Benin Metropolis. Thank you. And the majority of those people was talking to they are Igbos.
In fact, it's basically a very important topic that the people must take note of in case they don't know. And the rest of Nigeria, including the North, must now begin to think about this.
They are outside
the Igbo tribe in Nigeria are not a minority. They're one of the big three. And in every community in Nigeria, the Igbos account for the second most populated community after the indigenous communities.
And we also saw that in Lagos when they took themselves to the House of Reps there. They had to appeal to them that Lagos
they just allow us to
House of Reps. Exactly. In the House of Reps.
I live in Lagos, and I can tell you that Lagos is almost evenly split between Igbo speaking people and Igbo speaking people.
Yeah, this is a perspective that
if you go to they're not looking at it. The registered voters in Northwest, I can tell you without fear of contradiction that a minimum of 30% of those votes are Igbo votes in the Northwest. Have you been to Kano?
Yes.
Have you been to Kaduna?
Yes.
As far as Zamfara, in 2011 or 2007, I've forgotten now, APGA, a party that is supported by Igbos, wherever they reside, came second in the gubernatorial election in Zamfara State. Because of Igbo votes. They beat PDP to third position in Zamfara. And these people are saying it is our turn to president. It is the Igbo vote that has sustained PDP since 2015. Just as
They're also in large majority in Plateau. Because
all over the country,
that are even born there.
including Goza in Borno State, including Bama, including after where Boko Haram is bombing, Igbo man is still there. And he starts to vote where he's residing.
Yes.
I'm talking about Abuja where we are. What people underestimate people vote, and I'm sure they will be in for a surprise in the 2020 election. That they do not usually have too much of interest in politics.
Yes.
Was because Nigeria was egalitarian up until 2015. You don't have to get involved to get your due as a Nigerian. They are mostly businessmen. But they have felt so marginalized in the last 7 years that they now feel it's our turn to have this.
We're interested.
So it means that if the Igbos voted overwhelmingly for Atiku in 2019 and he got over 11 million votes, most of which came from the Igbo votes, the Igbo man is now ready to vote for his own. They will vote much more than that. People shouldn't underestimate the voting strength of the Igbo people from the southeast and south part of Nigeria. It's something that people should stop underestimating. Don't look at the votes in Enugu and Anambra and think that is the Igbo vote. That is the vote at home. Igbo man is not at home.
I understand.
It's in diaspora.
Yes, it's true.
And I'm wondering why the PDP is willing to throw away a vote bank of 10 million votes to chase after a mirage of 12 million in the Northwest. What if, like I said earlier, the APC decides, okay, since it is Hausa people that give us vote, the Northwest, we're going to pick a candidate from the Northwest. So what happens to the PDP? The APC is stronger in the North, no doubt. That's the very factor. So they pick a candidate from the North, and they will still dominate their region. So what if you now pick your candidate from the North, you the PDP, and you now lose your southern base, and you still don't win the North? What happens to the party?
Yes.
So it's not better to do the right thing and err on the side of morality. Do the right thing. All you need to do is to pick a candidate that is qualified. We won't talk about zoning. So it doesn't mean just give it to anybody you see there. No. And let me take you down the history of Nigeria. Down memory lane. In 1999, there was zoning, no doubt. But Obasanjo was the most qualified at the time. Obasanjo and Falai and the Kwebe and Obodia Onu, these were the leading lights of the time. People believe this had more capacity. Obasanjo got the edge because he was seen as the most nationalistic amongst Yorubas, who would not come and avenge the wrong done to them through the annulment of June 12, the incarceration of Abiola and the death of Abiola under northern military dictators. So Obasanjo was seen to be the person who understands that we need to move forward, heal the wounds, don't elevate Yoruba interest over others. That's why he was favored. In 2007, power was to go to the north. The idea then was corruption. Obasanjo has raised the awareness of corruption so much by creating the FCC and ICPC, and the mantra of corruption was so much in the atmosphere that the idea was the least corrupt person should be allowed to lead Nigeria going forward. Obasanjo has created an extra school account of several billions of dollars, and so we felt that we don't want someone to come and squander what has been created, and who can also continue with the reforms of Obasanjo. That's why Atiku was blacklisted at that time. Why was he corrupt? All the late the same thing. So they want to block out a year ago. I would say, it's as prudent as anybody can imagine. And about Yaradua projected as that incorruptible, decent, easygoing, non-ambitious figure that could also lead. Really? Nigerian bought into it. But there was a challenge again in President Muhammadu Buhari. He was also seen as incorruptible. So both of them ran neck to neck. Okay, that's what I want because I have more support across the country. But it just showed that Nigerians voted for the two best candidates that they felt was available. I think became a distant thought because of the cultural baggage at that time.
Yes.
In 3 levels, something again happened. Jonathan violated zoning formula.
Yes.
But some people felt that since he was sitting vice president and the president died, let's just give one time. So let's have to also know that they've tested. But if it tested, come back to the north. Even though they not opposed that strongly, it was strongly opposed. They say and co opposed it. Buhari again and Jonathan contested. 2 of them killed it. Prophet Jonathan was educated, PhD, and being from a minority ethnic group, he may just have what it takes to lead this country in the right direction. But Buhari too is also a man of strong integrity. So much of the right neck to neck. Okay, Jonathan won. Okay, Jonathan won. It's okay. People felt it was okay, slightly better than. By 250, there was a conclusion that look, Jonathan was not the best. Corruption, insecurity, all. And he has violated zoning formula, and the North was not going to accept it the second time.
Second time, yes.
So power was also to the North. But he went to the North again. The coalition of APC then went for the best person at that time in the North.
To defeat.
That person was Buhari. Buhari is popular not because he's Fulani or Hausa or Muslim. No. Buhari is popular not because.
You see him Mr. Integrity.
It's as simple as that. People should understand this. And so in 2015, it was like, okay, if you have insecurity in general, corruption, anti-corruption in general. So that was what sold Buhari again. And he won. Meaning, zoning in Nigeria has been merit-based. It's based on merit. The best from the zone where it is due is the person that people vote for, not just anybody. It's a fact.
Yes.
Now, as we speak today, the PDP is lucky, very lucky, to have the most popular candidate from the South in its fold. That person is in from the Southeast, incidentally. That person is called Mr. Peter Obi.
Yes.
This is one man that has captured the imagination of all Nigerians. As we speak, every poll, opinion poll, has placed Peter Obi on the PDP. And Osibanjo of the APC.
I saw it on Punch too.
And Osibanjo of the APC. Meaning, if it's, yes, why?
It's between him and
why? True is it. Osibanjo acted as president a few times. I will show a difference. Nigerians are drawn to that. Do the presidential debate and vice presidential debate. Obi and Osibanjo intellectually slugged it out in a manner that people felt, okay, no, these two is just okay. Edge of these two men. You should Nigerians want good governance. What am I saying in essence? Zoning is compatible with competence. That is zoned competently. And people are saying, if it's coming to this part of the country, South, it's true. Now, the PDP has the opportunity to resolve some of all these agitations by narrowing down on its most popular candidate, Peter Obi. It's on the South, so he solved that problem.
Yes, he solved that problem.
So it's on the South, solves that problem. He's competent, has a track record of the kind of frugality that is needed now to administer a cash-strapped, debt-ridden country like Nigeria. You need that kind of frugality. No kind of stinginess. People didn't like him before now, but it's like,
yes,
now only down.
I think he's beginning to gain traction.
He's gaining traction for that he represents. Osibanjo, on the other hand, also appears as, yes, frugal and knowledgeable, empathic, and diplomatic. So both of them have this thing going for them. So Nigerians will be having two good choices to choose from. Unfortunately, the PDP is not looking at what I'm saying now. They are overlooking the 10 million vote that Peter Obi is having in the city. Because if you look at the Southeast now, they seem to be ready to pull everything together to support Peter Obi. You can tell. Peter Obi is like the Buhari of 2014 in PDP today, who has that massive. It's like having a 10 million vote bank already.
Not having a court following.
Buhari, unfortunately, the man has it now, free of charge, just like Buhari. Because Nigerians want good governance.
Yes.
But the PDP is about to throw this away because of miscalculation, political infantilism, and because the man is not giving out money. They failed to understand that similarly, but they didn't have money to give anybody to 2014.
Exactly. It was
But the Tinubus and co
full soldiers that did it.
This man can give us victory. He will give credibility to our ticket. So the way the support of the structure on his side, a particular candidate from the North in that 2014 election was sharing $4,000. Nobody voted for him. The people went with Buhari. I had expected the PDP to do the same thing today with Peter Obi. Especially when it is his region, his people, that sustain this party this long. And these people are saying, it is our turn. And incidentally and interestingly, the Igbos have been support across Nigeria for the presidency. I find it fair small to say, give it to them.
Yes, even middle belts.
A lot of Northerners from the Northwest are saying, give it to Peter Obi to satisfy the Igbo president. That's what they're Nigerians. It's that the election is coming there, social justice has to be brought into this question now. Otherwise, the question will remain unresolved. The PDP is playing the ostrich. So, if division in derails, it is the PDP that will be held responsible, not the APC. The APC has shown enough good faith, if you ask me, by all this while leaving the space largely for southern politicians. The first person to buy from in the PDP was Atiku Abubakar, Tambuwa, Saraki, and others. Now, Wike has come out to show for what he's also a grand politician. It's not saleable beyond LLA Junction in River State. Nigerians don't vote clowns as presidents. Why take the issue of Nigeria? We vote our best because most people are focused on the center and not at the state level. So anybody can vote as well at the state level. People have more inclination towards the center because of the centralized nature of our federalism. So the president is very important to all Nigerians, rather than their governors. So Nigerians don't vote idiots into the presidency. We vote the best of us. Now, back to the issue that what do you call them? They are raising.
ACF.
ACF. Let me say this. I'm happy that a lot of Northerners are ignoring the bigotry, the hate, the prejudice, the disgusting tribalism that was a racism of ACF and NEF to do the right thing. On the front page of THISDAY, we saw Senator Lindemann holding the form for his brother and compatriot, Otide Amechi from River State. That's the GG of Otide Amechi's campaign. What I've seen in the APC is this. The APC Northern Wing have queued up behind their Southern friends.
Yes, but it's just this ACF and
ACF has no structure in the North. They are rival rosas. They represent nothing and nobody. But unfortunately, because people do not know, when they make statements and the media gives it this publicity, people think that it's a version of Northern. It is not. These are a group of troubleshooters that thrive in this kind of controversy. They represent nothing, they reflect nothing. They should not be taken seriously. And I think I want to urge our Southern leaders to ignore ACF.
You know, the Southern governors, chairman, Rotimi and
he was
on Wednesday
reacting to the statement of the party, which was unfortunate. Abla Lamu shouldn't have made that statement.
Yes, that.
No, it's wrong. It's wrong-headed. That was what created the latest tension. Abla Lamu's person is not so committed to parachute. They said it in the past. Yes. There's no option. Let me tell you something. In 2011, Jonathan violated the zoning formula in PDP. It was resisted by Southerners. People don't seem to understand.
We saw Obasanjo publicly tearing his.
No, that was when in 2015.
But he was angry.
Yes,
2015 years.
In 2011, I'll tell you something. Vincent Ogulafor was party chairman of PDP. Yes, when Adwa died, Jonathan became president. Ogulafor announced
that he was going to support that.
No, that no Southerners should contest. That is turn of the North. Jonathan fired him from chairmanship then. He paid the sacrifice, he paid the ultimate price. Another Southeasterner was brought in as chairman. Of course, less than Wodo. Wodo didn't bother to say no contest, but Wodo was busy working for Atiku, who was the Northern consensus candidate from the PDP. And I remember that those who contested against Jonathan, I wanted to that consensus arrangement, included President Bangida, President Bangida, Ali Kuso, former NSL, Bukola Saraki, and Atiku. All of them, their DGs were from the south, particularly from the southeast. Intenta or Denta for Bishwale, so Benobi for Atiku, so on and so forth. Then the Kwesi from South was the DG campaign for President Bangida. So it tells you that the South resisted Jonathan's attempt to take the North, turn of the North. Professor Edison Musu and Co were all working for Bangida at that time. It was the turn of the North. Ikenga Wuchinye was supporting Power's retain in the North. But when Jonathan had his way, because Northerners, they kind of supported Jonathan. That is no problem. By 2015, it was total showdown. In the quest to take one from Jonathan, a Southerner, Jonathan's Southern brothers, as what people actually do, Osin Banjo, Rotimi Amechi, name them, Tibi Prince Silva, all of them, Prince Godi J.D. Agba, all of them teamed up to make sure that it didn't happen. The North wouldn't have been able alone to get Jonathan out of office. Southerners supported.
Yes.
Now, we have seen that the APC Northern Wing appears to have appreciated it and they are queuing up behind their preferred candidates in the South. For example, Kashim Shettima, Ganduje, Wamako,
For
Tinubu,
yes.
Adodogu and Co. Tinubu. We've seen that Senator Kabila from Kano is now for who? Osibanjo. Indume is for who? Otimamechi. This is honor. This is what it should be. I listened to Senator Indume said it is called adultery in Northern Nigeria. Northern Muslim adultery means fairness, justice, equity. Do what others, what others to do unto you. This people did to us in 50. We are doing to them now. So I'm still inclined to think that the APC is still sure-footed in terms of the move towards certain presidents. That does not mean that people will not pick forms to contest with the no. No. Some people just pick forms to just let it be my CV, potential aspirant. But the PDP is the problem. At the time that Atiku, Tambuwal, Saraki are supposed to be lining up behind their friends in the South, they are trying to struggle it out with them in the field. It is unfair, it is immoral, it is dishonorable. I know the kind of support that P2B, his Igbo people, his region, I know the kind of support they gave to Atiku, both at the primary election and at the general election.
Yes.
I know the kind of support that we gave to Tambuwal. And when Tambuwal didn't win, I know how Wike gave full support to Atiku in the general election. In fact, Wike and P2B delivered the highest vote for Atiku in their respective states, Anambra and Rivers.
Yes, that's what somebody was saying, that, a statement, that Atiku made that he deserves a first right refusal.
Because that's the only vote.
Somebody now said,
from South,
that's what I want to say, that even his northern people did not give him.
Atiku practically lost Adamawa. I remember I had to put a call to somebody that said, why is Atiku unable to win Adamawa State? That told me that I shouldn't want the votes from the middle belt areas of Adamawa. The middle belt confederation extends to Adamawa Boronu. Middle belt is simply a euphemism for northern minorities that are mostly Christians.
Yes.
It was for the Christian part of Adamawa. That vote came in.
Yes, because the earlier vote said he lost Adamawa.
He lost his polling units all over Yola.
We were aghast that what?
Yes. So if you're a man today has forgotten that the same people that gave you the support in 2019, I mean, now says they are torn. And even the rival party that they didn't vote for is looking towards that direction. You are not the one standing in between, claiming winnability from where? From where? So the PDP, as we speak, is on the path to perdition, self-perdition, self-destruction, if they do not gain by their senses. And truly, like the argument they are making, once you get to the north, you win. If that is the issue, you can play the game. So this can say, we don't want to lose the election. So El-Rufai, go and pick from. Can Atiku defeat El-Rufai in the northern part of this country? Is it possible? It cannot. Then the Igbos now, and those that feel jilted by the PDP, will now revolt and fold their arms. What happens to the PDP? Now, imagine, for instance, that the APC picks somebody from the south, say Erochigbe Amechi, who identifies as Ikwere Igbo.
Yes, that's what he has enjoyed.
And because he speaks Igbo, unlike Wike, who doesn't want to be called an Igbo man, Amechi doesn't want to be called an Igbo man. So I've seen a lot of Igbos working for Amechi in APC. And you now pick an Atiku in your own party. And they not truly mobilizes the position. No, this Amechi is our son.
Yes.
He helped us.
Exactly. You can't say because it belongs to APC.
No. Igbos will vote for Amechi. And Atiku will still lose in the north. So the PDP will not go into extinction. PDP needs to think up. So that the ones that are going to derail this, not SC about anybody, is the PDP. It is the PDP. But I still believe that the APC is not going to derail it. I believe the APC is still going to zone to the south. I want to give them that benefit of doubt, that they will still do what is morally and justly right. Otherwise, the crisis that will engulf this country will be unimaginable. What I mean unimaginable. And I want to give an advice to ACF. Stop the hate. Stop the bigotry numbers. Otherwise, the South will remind you that your access to the sea is in the South.
Is it the South?
And oil that is used to feed that population of yours in the North.
Yes, South is the South.
Stop this nonsense. Stop it. When you talk about the only formula, it pained you, you protested. Don't encourage that. Stop this statement. Stop it. It is not healthy, it's not helpful. It's putting the North in a very bad light. It's putting us to shame. As if we don't think, as if we're not considerate. Enough is enough. Allow this process to happen. But in going to the South, we must speak in Nigeria from the South. You see, people don't understand the meaning of zoning. Zoning simply means come and do for all of us. But your ethnicity shouldn't disqualify you. That's all. But your ethnicity shouldn't qualify you to come and now speak government in front of your side.
No, it doesn't always happen because you have the National Assembly there. You have fake meeting.
Simple. So what it simply means, okay, to demonstrate awareness. If for the man in Kano to say, the man in South, the man in Anambra is my own, I'm supporting him. That is to demonstrate oneness, actually. It is to make us understand that we are one people. So a time might come, we will now forget these differences. But if an man does presidency today and solves a Almighty problem in the North, solves the problem in the North, really. And that's about if someone becomes president and solves the infrastructure problem in the Southeast. So it was okay. The Hausa man has demonstrated that Southeast is his region. The Igbo man has demonstrated that the North is his region. That is what only was supposed to achieve. And by the grace of God, we will achieve. And once we achieve it and get integrated as what's supposed to be, people will forget where everybody comes from. But for now, we cannot get this on. We cannot.
Thank you so much for that. I think, should we go? No, let's take this other one. We have a second lead story on leadership. Let's go back to leadership newspaper again. Let's see the second lead on the cover. June 3 deadline for primary sacrosanct. June 3 deadline for primary sacrosanct. INEC tells parties. This is the second lead. This second story on leadership is also the same story in other papers. About APC
is trying
to lobby for
extension because the PDP actually unsettled the APC.
Wow.
Yes. It doesn't. So you are like, maybe we need to plan for another candidate in case. So they are seeking for that extension because they are supposed to have filling their forms by Friday, but I think they will be done with that by Monday. So I mean, it was something that really rattled them. So, but it's good that that INEC is being firm, which means that at least at this stage, INEC will not be giving into pressure from the ruling party because it will otherwise give a very tainted image to the entire electoral process. So this is quite convenient that INEC is standing their ground. And the person shouldn't worry about any plan B, there's no plan B. All they need to do is to go back to them and mobilize. And say, what God is, and they would go. You see, the average northerner is actually fair-minded. Yes, we know that there has been a rise in religious populism in northern Nigeria, with the rise to power of President Muhammadu Buhari. But I think is a passing phase. It was brought about by the attempt of President Jonathan to break a second time. That was supposed to be the term of the North. So these are understandable issues, but having not achieved much with the hyper-sectionalism of President Muhammadu Buhari in the same region, I think a lot of people are beginning to come back to their senses to say, look, let us begin to think, well, it is clear that Nigeria can never make progress except we are united as a people, and that no sectional agenda can prevail over national agenda. So all sectional agenda can be furthered or advanced within the concept of national agenda. So we now need a nationalist. And the first step toward that national unity is justice of zoning. It's the variety of zoning. So I think a lot of others are inclined to that. And whether you feel another now or not, they will vote for those friends of theirs that they see as standing with justice in 2015, over and above those who did not. So the APC is in a good position to actually clinch the presidency. Yes.
No, the huge number of aspirants for APC presidential
it's mind-boggling.
Don't you think it will give rise to money politics?
No. Money politics already says it's already.
A situation whereby you see alignment at the end of the day, considering the number, the huge amount somebody is going to spend, and the person becomes president eventually.
No, money politics. We can't solve that problem now. We've lost the initiative again. Because when you charge somebody 100 million, it's not a joke. To buy phone. And other things will still follow. So, except God intervenes and gives us a Moses out of the palace of Pharaoh, out of the household of Pharaoh, that is, someone will go through this corrupt process, but turn out to be a Moses that will commit class suicide.
Who will not consider religion or ethnic.
And who just, in spite of the money spent, will go ahead to put an end to corruption. He will commit class suicide. He will attempt to commit class suicide. But if he's able to deliver on good governance quickly, people will now become his new class. So we hope to see that kind of miracle happen. But miracle, do they happen these days? I do not know. Or that you have to work for something you want to achieve. And that's why we are saying, PDP, we are wise. Let's be wise. You see, a PDP that is not going to be sharing money. And people have accepted him for that. If you failed him, there is a high chance that we'll go for him for free of charge. And since he didn't spend money to become president, he has no experience.
Not to deliver.
But again, they are not looking at that direction. So the person I hope is a Pharaoh, a Moses out of the household of Pharaoh in APC. That's the question. That's what I hope for at this point. So it's unfortunate, really.
But we are going on a short break. And when we come back, we'll be reviewing the last paper. We have on and many. Don't go away, stay tuned.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Welcome back. This is Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television, and with me in the studio reviewing the papers has been a public affairs analyst, Majid Dahiru. Majid, it's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Nice to remember Winifred Gbebo. Now we want to talk business now. Let's go to our sister publication, National Economy. National Economy says U.S. interest rates hike further shrinks Nigeria's FDI prospects. U.S. interest rates hike further shrinks Nigeria's FDI, that is foreign direct investment prospects.
That is, investors in the US are keeping their money at home because of the slight raise in the interest rate. So it's they are going to make more money from their own economies. They are now bringing it here. Usually, America's interest rate is usually quite low, very low, which is good for the economy. Yes, it is. It is good because it spurs growth, it spurs businesses, and exports competitiveness. But they have a problem of inflation recently. Actually, they are slightly increasing their interest rate to kind of curb the kind of inflation they're having. Don't mind that the only inflation is demand pull. Actually, it's not cost push. Because of the policies of the government to alleviate the sufferings from COVID-19 pandemic. Actually, now made too much money chasing too few items. So, in order to mop up these monies, you need to increase interest rates to like making money to be more expensive. Now, but that does not work for us, and that is the mistake we keep making in Nigeria. This doesn't work for us. We're supposed to reduce our interest rates further, or should I say, reduce it downwards, because you need a low interest rate to support the real sector of the economy. Most of the FDIs you see coming into Nigeria, we have high interest rate and US has low interest rate, are actually portfolio investment that are speculative in nature. That is, it's simply bringing money into your stocks, into your financial sector, to trade within your own economy and take back the profit. It doesn't allow you to export competitiveness. So what you gain from this is very meager. So I like to take out of the box economically. What we should be focusing on is cut interest rates for as low as possible to spur export competitiveness. Nigeria will make more money the day you export more from Aba, from Kano, from Port Harcourt. By the time you have a productive base that the products can compete with other major exporters in the world in the market in terms of pricing. If you manufacture a shoe from Aba today, because of the low interest rates in lending, because the man in Aba gets probably funding from banks at maybe 0% to 1% interest rate, he has the power, he has infrastructure. If you manufacture a shoe in Aba, there's a higher chance that shoe will compete in terms of price with one made in China, with similar facilities he has in China, in Ghana. Well, we cannot go to China to beat them at their price. And we need to beat China in Nigeria and West Africa, especially now that we've signed into the African Free Trade Continental Agreement.
Yes, agreement.
We need to make export competitiveness a priority now. Because if you do not do that, you can't really grow the wealth of a nation. And your GDP will just be in figures if you have no substance. So this might look like, okay, women will need to increase further our interest rate to beat. No, we shouldn't do that. No, we shouldn't do that. So this works for the American people because they've attained some level of productivity, very highest in the world. They're the largest exporters in the world. So they can afford this slight increase to solve a peculiar problem. So the economy, which is cost push inflation. I mean, demand pull inflation, not cost push. Nigeria is right now suffering from cost push inflation, multifaceted. To the extent that telecoms are threatening to shut down in some states because of power, absence of power, high cost of running their transmission. Exactly. So we shouldn't even consider this option now. But this is a good information for us to know. Okay, maybe we might take a bit of. Okay, there are some investments that are not coming in this time because of this factor in the US. But Nigeria is not supposed to be dependent on such kind of investment application. You see, we need investment in the real sector, the economy, manufacturing, agriculture. And this kind of investment should come with Nigerian active partnership, either as individuals or as government, so that when we export the goods and services from this kind of investment, we as a country and as individuals will take our own profit from it, then the investor nation will take its own profit. Rather than investing wholly in Nigeria for Nigerian market. So it's like I produce bread. Imagine we live in an environment. So I produce bread and you buy it from me for your household. Maybe you don't actually lease me the land inside a compound to be doing the bread. But my major customers are your children. Do you understand? It's like what I pay you as rent, I'm taking from you now.
That was what the same thing that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala also complained about Nigeria's participation in it.
Yes. So it's like I'm producing these services for you, but I employ your children as the people working in my bakery. But the people that are buying the same bakery, the same bread, are your children.
It's not for
who is gaining, who is losing? Everyone gaining, you're not gaining nothing in real terms. So it means I'm taking from the wealth of your own family into mine, while pretending to be helping you to create job for your children. It's the money you're paying for the bread. I don't know I'm paying your children for their daily labor in my bakery. But you're happy that employment. It is not employment. It is not real investment. Investment should be oriented towards export.
yes.
When you have export
And that's what we
zones,
don't really have.
we don't have this orientation. That's why you have export promotion zones or free zones. Now, what that means is, if any investor from America is going to invest in manufacturing of, say, toothpicks, it should be directed to that zone. You do it there, it is exported from there, not one enters the Nigerian market. Straight outside, so that the profit that you take, you can take mine. Now, the one that Nigerians will consume will be by Nigerian businessmen only from loans from Nigerian banks. That is now import substitution. That is, you are keeping money at home. So why you cannot export with the local capacity you have? The foreign investor comes with his money, you camp it at an export promotion zone You do it there and you take it. Not one enters the Nigerian market, takes it out. The reason is this: if it comes in with American money or any of these other foreign investment home countries, and establish a company in Nigeria, and they produce for the Nigerian market, what that means is that it is your crude oil sales that you're using to pay for these services. So you've not gained anything. That's why your economy will keep shrinking. Why its own is growing. So you need to break into that same market. Let us all go and compete for a common global market. So all the investment from abroad should be oriented towards that, not portfolio investment into the financial sector that is traded. All our businesses in Nigeria revolve around crude oil revenues. What is driving growth in Nigeria? What is driving all the activities is our crude oil money. Government makes money from crude oil, those contractors, those vendors. So that boosts, that's all. So we need an alternative source of forex. Though you can now begin to talk about growing the wealth of a nation. If you look at our entertainment industry, that is one way now that Nigerians are making money even from crude oil. That's why the economy in Lekki appears to be booming outside the regular Nigerian economy. You know why? Somehow we've been able to break into the global entertainment stage. So you have your Burna Boy, he goes to Madison Square Garden
and
sold out shows.
Sold out show, man.
That's an export commodity. Entertainment. It's paid in dollars.
You see the video going to
you see Whiskey,
O2 Arena.
You see Whiskey back to back.
So that
you see all of them all over Africa and the world. You see all of them. So what this is doing for us is that you see this big set of entertainers. They're making money outside crude oil revenues now. It's no longer that cities that you and I buy in Nigeria that give them money. They are distributing globally because their product is good, it's export competitive. So the product it wins Grammy these days. And they're all counting Lekki. They live in Lekki. So then they come back with their dollars. They buy houses in Lekki. So the Lekki property market is private, Banana Island. They buy cars. So Lekki auto shops are booming. Now they have hangers on, staff, sponsors. They are paying them from this one. They earn from outside. So that
large
hangers on. Those who do one or two things out, charities, a lot of things. They spend the money. They buy. They go to restaurants. They go to clubs. Because something is running this money. The money they make from their performance outside. Stock contract, stock money. So we need to replicate this in other sectors. We want to see agricultural produce from
we're not translating agricultural produce into finished product.
And export it.
Yes, that's the problem.
For example, you hear that Benue is now the third world largest exporter of orange, for example.
Yes.
Because you need to also process orange even in its natural form.
Exactly.
Process it and make
all these kind of orange drinks
orange products is from Benue.
Yet we still go and export. We can even take the oranges and that's just the problem.
Exactly.
That's what I don't go see
you need to put it
we don't have
value. You hear that palm oil now, the southeast region of Nigeria has become one of the largest exporters of palm oil. I mean, palm oil brings $5-10 million to that region. No people will not be doing like poverty anymore.
Like you said, Nigerian government, they don't think of business.
Every course, every month.
They just depend on
it comes. It is a recipe for laziness. You don't have to do anything now. You buy from 100 million, you gamble, you become government. Every 5 billion enters account, 10% enters. Why do you have to take it where I'm thinking? But if you don't have allocation as government, and you have to take to make money, you start doing business.
Yes.
That's the reality. Unfortunately, this should have been seed money for investment in your areas of comparative advantage. Imagine that the entertainers are giving support from the Lagos State government. Let me give you another one. I think that Nollywood has moved to about the same thing. There is a people are nice about shooting movies. What doesn't let us take away from saying? And what we do to make Nollywood movies out of Asaba as quality. I mean, the quality should be one of the best in the countries of the world. This is why our music has managed to break even. So that by the time the revenue comes, I will create a hub here. What do we need to do to transform this to the major economy here? If we're not taking effort, nobody's taking about it.
setting on maybe film village.
But
But forget, you see the wrong thinking.
Yes.
I think Gandhi
Mm.
did it in Kano. But what kind of movies come out from Kano when they're even having issues with Kannywood? That was wrong. You know, he set up a film.
No, I think it was the House of Reps member. What do you call it? Abumuni Jibrin.
Okay.
Wanted to attract it to the federal budget to the state. And they rose up their hands and
said that was a wrong move.
It was.
Because Kannywood,
you are killing creativity.
There are some things that you're not even supposed to creativity.
You are killing creativity because you can use, if you want to, movie does not mean it has to be nudity.
So, you could try more in maybe this Asaba that
you mean the propriety of certain things?
Yes, that's what I was.
The problem is in Nigeria, he even tried, at least he tried to, Italy as a Kannywood, I tried to improve it. No problem. And what we are saying, ordinarily we need to have integration. Do you know what Nigerian music has moved across the world? Nigeria's oneness is expressed in Nigerian music. In Nigerian music, you see that the best Yoruba singer is an Igbo man by birth. Some of the best Yoruba music movie stars are Igbos. Some of the best people that sing in Igbo are Yorubas. Some of the best Igbo comedians are Yorubas. I know them. I've taken my time to study the trend. That oneness is in our entertainment industry. They are one people. You see, most of them are multilingual.
Yes, they are. Like Burna Boy would sing in Yoruba. Igbo, sing in Yoruba.
You don't even know the tribe. We don't have tribe anymore. Even this Burna Boy goes by Oluwa Bona, and he goes by Odogwu at the same time. What a more Nigerian than that. Now, look at Wizkid. Wizkid has sung in every language in Nigeria. How about Davido?
Yes.
Did you hear Davido with the language actually? I mean, these guys have shown that we are one. They look at the friendship that cut across. You have a Yoruba musician, his producer is an Igbo man, his marketer is a Hausa man.
And did you forgot that he also joined in singing the FIFA team World Cup?
Because he's a Nigerian musician. If you notice, we are Fuji. We are Fuji music.
He has done us proud because
we have Fuji music. Ogene music didn't take us to because these are localized music. The hybridization of all of our cultural entertainment, whatever, in Nigerian entertainment industry today has taken us over. It means we need to unite as a people. If you unite, if you integrate your economy, if you integrate your geographic space, and make sure that all the best of our economic endowments are integrated for effort competitiveness, it will end for us what entertainment is ending for Nigeria today. But we've not done that. Not. And so it brings back to the question of national integration. National unity as a condition, a fundamental one at that must precede national development. If you don't have it, forget it. It can't happen. So we need national unity at this point. Because we must come to the realization that we are competing not with ourselves. We're competing with Ghana, with Chad, China, South Africa, in the global space. When you realize that, you now put us in order. And say, look, we are one people. Let's come together to enhance competitiveness. And so what happens? You now draw from outside into the house. So you have enough to take care of yourself. You have enough for welfare. You have enough for everybody. And for this enough to go around, you have to kill corruption. Because you now realize that if you steal 1 naira, you are hurting the next man. If you misappropriate one kobo, you are hurting the next person who is like you. And you're going to be a victim if you are out of this office. So, hey, I'm not corrupt because I know that I'm hurting myself. It's only when we realize that we are one people that corruption can go. For now, we still feel that I'm Yoruba, invisible. So it's my turn to take, it's your turn to take. Until we come together, and we need a leadership that will bring us together. That will consider the profit, the benefit of unity and prosperity. Once Nigerians see the benefit of that unity and prosperity that comes with it, they will abandon tribalism. They will abandon it. But if you don't make us see it, we will not. We will go on to the one we know, which is tribalism. Brother, they make you minister. Brother, give me contract now. Brother, my son wants to be police. But when you know that, just one.
Brother, don't forget where you are coming from. Oh. Don't forget that you have many people.
Thank you. But the more the system begins to take care of us in an egalitarian manner, you don't need to know anybody. Nobody needs to know you. You should prefer to be a teacher, go and be a teacher, and you earn money.
Yes.
Do you know that? Recently, I'll give you this life story. I went to general in Nigeria. He told me that I went to court abroad. What was the structure? What was the warrant officer? Warrant what? Officer. That's a PhD. So I asked him, but why didn't you become an officer? He said, no, doesn't need it. I am paid the salary of a PhD holder in this country. So I earn higher than officers, your colleagues, your mates in this country, who don't have paid that any higher than them. How do I need to be an officer? Because the army cannot exist without that RSM. It can't exist. In Nigeria, it is not so. It is a rank. It has to be. So we now struggle to enter the rank by hook or by crook. We need to reset certain fundamentals. We cannot make progress.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Honestly, I hope you have so many takeaways from today's program Inside Nigeria, which was brought to you on Leadership Television. Majid, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So much
Pleasure indeed.
So viewers, next week is another day. Have a beautiful weekend. Don't forget to stay safe. Security is everybody's responsibility. I remain Winifred Global. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.